Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 304 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight? I got nothing for this one.
Hi, I'm Phoebe Stanton, and I can't believe Dr. Wily made Unicron.
This is Blair Farrell from comicbookvideogames.com, and yeah, I can't really think of anything clever for this one either.
I'm Kyle Foster, and I have a question for all of you. Who is the cutest robot master?
Bounce Man.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have one for this game. I don't even remember who the people are in this game.
Me neither. Bounce Man is a disqualification due to the level alone.
I just meant, like, in general, like, of course, like in MegaMan 11, but just, like, all the MegaMan games. Like, who's the cutest?
Clown Man. Clown and Bance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Skull.
Or Galaxy.
I like Sheep Man. He's really cute. He just looks really cute.
Skullman and Fairman were always two of my favorites as a kid.
Skullman looks, like, cool. Like, he just looks, like, really well designed.
I literally just finished this, and I only remember 4 of the bosses.
Yeah, this game is what you call forgettable.
Yeah. There was Tundra, because their design was awesome. There was Bounce, adorable. Block, the demo boss, and Torch, which was the actual best boss fight, because it's literally just Magma Dragoon again.
But he doesn't say... It was Magma Dragoon kept saying, burn to the ground, burn to the ground.
No, that's MegaMan X7.
Okay.
Magma Dragoon is all Hadouken! Sure you
Yeah.
Okay. So I should introduce what we're talking about, unfortunately.
Yes.
MegaMan 11, developed and published by Capcom and came out in 2018. God, feels newer than that.
Nope, it is 6
Wow.
years old, which is really funny
Already?
because this was an 8-year gap between 10 and 11, so in 2 more years, we should get a 12, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hold your breath. Well, I always like to start with memories of these games. I never played this before until this past week. The only memory I had of it was Greg Seward on Player One podcast when it came out complaining about it. That's my only memory of this game. And I was like, I should, and then I never had any intention to play it. But that has always stuck with me. I
don't even think when it came out, because I bought it for him to stream.
Oh. Okay, at some point he did play it and talked about it on Player One, and I remember him complaining about it. Maybe it was later, but that's funny. Blair, what is your history with this game?
I think it must have been 2017, because I think it was Game Informer or someone. No, it wasn't Game Informer. There was some Mega Man anniversary stream, and it had a bunch of influencers, and they were talking to the people behind Mega Man, and then they had this like timeline video, and it was like 1, 2, and it went up to 10, and then it jumped to 11. And I remember being so surprised that they announced Mega Man 11, and then the next month, I think there was a Game Informer cover story, which I have that issue, and how sly they were, because they snuck a piece of Mega Man 11 concept art into Legacy Collection 2 that no one noticed. The concept for Mega Man with the Block Man upgrade was there, and no one knew what it was for. And they're just like, oh yeah, it was an abandoned piece of concept art for something we wanted to do, and not realizing that it was for like a new Mega Man game. So I think people have maybe been digging through this stuff now to see when they're going to find out if they're going to do that again, like for a 12 or an X9 or a Legends 3 or something.
Okay, that's cool though. That is actually pretty cool. Phoebe, what is your history with this game?
This is my first time playing it, but I've tried the demo a few times over the past few years. I just never took the commitment to paying full price for this game.
What was full price?
Yeah, now that I've finally played it, I would say wait for a big discount before playing it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I paid pretty sure I got this in a bundle or something. Like, I did not pay much for this. And Kyle.
Well, I got this, I think a friend gifted this to me, and I was really very appreciative of them. That was very sweet of them. So I remember this game coming out, and I was actually pretty excited, because here's the thing. I really enjoyed, for the most part, Mega Man's 9 and 10. I thought they were pretty decent games, but honestly, the 8-bit thing kind of, I don't know, annoyed me a little bit, and I was actually kind of excited to see, like, a new Mega Man, but, like, done in a new style, like in a kind of a 2.5D kind of a thing. Like, I was actually excited for that. Like, I was hoping Mega Man 11 would be done in like a 16-bit style, like Mega Man 7, which, yes, shocking to everyone. Mega Man 7 is actually my favorite Mega Man game. Anyways, I was hoping 11 would be done in that style, but I guess it would be done in its current style. So I was actually kind of excited for that. And finally getting to play it and everything. Yeah, I thought this game was just okay, and I'm a little disappointed. I don't know, like I actually had some high expectations for this game. It looked really nice. The graphics looked really good. And I liked some of the ideas going on with, like, the gear system and, like, how it plays and how you can fast forward and slow down time. I'm like, okay, this actually seems really innovative. But I played the demo of it and I was like, all right, this is pretty decent. And then when I finally played the full game, I was just, I played the full game a couple years after I played the demo, and I was just, like I'm glad I have a copy, but I'm happy that it was gifted to me and I didn't really buy it with my own money.
No, that's a completely fair statement. I hope you didn't pay a lot for this, Phoebe, just to be for this episode.
I think I paid about $11 because it was on sale on Steam.
Oh, you paid fine. That's fine, then. That's worth it. I mean, it's not, and it's also kind of ironic, but I'm happy that it's one of those games where I'm happy that it exists, but I was also let down because I don't know what, I did play this on the casual difficulty because I suck at Mega Man. I was reminded very quickly while playing this, and I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna put this on casual, and so if I fall in a hole, Beat can just save my life. Like, we're not gonna try to play this anything legit.
Wait, if Beat was saving you, either you were buying Beat or you were on Newcomer.
I was on Newcomer then.
Okay.
I was on the easiest.
I did the stupid thing I've done the last 2 times, which was I chose casual. I didn't use any boss weapons. I didn't use the gear system.
Wow.
Why?
Because it's actually not that hard. It took about 2 to 3 hours to do it.
I can't remember the difficulty breakdown. Is casual normal?
No, I think casual is easy.
Casual is easy, and then Newcomer is super baby easy, where you have infinite lives, so you never have to worry about restarting a stage with continuing. You never have to worry about bottomless pits. You have infinite beats.
That was nice, by the way.
There's some other stuff, like the gear bar doesn't fill up as fast, and empty is even faster.
See, I was curious to find out how you feel about this, Mike, because my first impression when I played this was I was a little bit frustrated with it, and I didn't know if I liked it. But then after a while, and I think I don't consider this among my favorites, but I do like it a lot. And I think it's because the level design and how they changed how you access your weapons, it encourages the player to use them in creative ways. And in fact, I find the game harder if you don't use them. And I know, Mike, you hate using the weapons, even though that's like the mechanic of the Mega Man games.
I didn't, by the way, again. So, but yes.
Yeah. Because there's so many. Because I think what slowed down a lot of Mega Man games is that, okay, in order to access your menu, your weapons, you had to go into the menu and then pick them, or eventually you could flick with them through the trigger. But in this, you effectively have quick access to the 8 directions on your control stick. So if you want one, you flick up to it, and then you click the control stick to get rid of it. And that's what I love about this, is that I think a hallmark of any, or trademark, I don't even know the term I'm trying to use. I think Mega Man games are at their best when the weapons are something that are beyond just weaknesses. And then here experimenting with them, especially for the mini bosses, and even just like some of the levels. Like in Dynamo Man's level, if you have like the acid weapon, you can just put on the shield and get through an entire section without taking any damage. And it's really fun stuff like that. And I mean, this game has an excessive amount of mini bosses, but just like finding the right weapons to use against them and just annihilating them in seconds is really satisfying.
Well, that does sound cool. I mean, the game had some cool stuff to it. It was just missing something that makes Mega Man to me. And I don't know.
The music.
Yeah, I think that might have been the biggest disappointment for me with this game. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't know.
Does this have music?
Did you play it mute like me, maybe?
No, it's just I don't remember a single
Oh.
damn song in this game.
Yeah, and I
don't even
finished this
remember
a
the
few.
game.
I finished this a few times, and if you put a gun to my head and said hum a song for Mega Man 11, I would just say pull the trigger because I'm not going to be able to do it.
The best way to know how lazy a Mega Man soundtrack can be is, does each individual part of Wily's Castle have its own theme, or is it one stagnant theme through all 3 to 4 pieces? And sadly, this game chose the latter option.
It also felt Wily's Castle felt smaller in this game than it does in a lot of Mega Man games.
Which is really funny because a lot of the boss stages feel a lot longer.
They do. There was a couple that, like we talked a little bit about it earlier, Bounce Man, which is just a fucking terrible level.
Yeah.
I love that. That was my
hate
favorite
it.
one.
I guess you do like challenge, because that level was a challenge just to bounce right.
Yeah, it's just so obnoxious just trying to, like, there's sections, well, I guess to introduce a level, you effectively can hit walls and bounce around, and finding the right angles in which to make certain jumps is really annoying. I know, like, towards the end, there's a section where you can try to get, like, an energy tank, and it's, like, pretty easy to get, only you have to hit the bounce balls at the right angle, and then you fall and you have to go all the way up again, and it just takes so long, and it's so frustrating.
That's where that was a level where I questioned if I was going to play this game or not. Like, for a little bit, I was like, this is terrible, but I didn't laugh. I got through it, but it took me a bit. It was just annoying. I do kind of want to comment about the graphics. Like, I like the Mega Man 9 and 10 8-bit style, and I agree with Kyle that they should have went to, like, what they do later on with the Mega Man games with 7 and I know 7 is different and 8 is a different graph style, but, like, it's just weird to me that they, like, I don't mind these new graphics. Like, I think they're very good. That wasn't my issue. I mean, I think it as a homage to Mega Man that we should have went to, like, 16-bit graphics, like Kyle had mentioned with 7, like, just because then it you said 7, or was it 8 that you were mentioning?
Yeah, well, 7 did that, and then 8 was like 32-bit-ish because it was on, like, PlayStation and
Yeah,
Saturn.
I can't remember which one you said was your favorite, though.
No, oh, sorry, 7. 7's
Okay,
my favorite.
I was right.
Like, I'm the weirdo Mega Man fan.
No,
yeah,
it's-
7.
Hey, you're not weird.
7's a good
love
game.
6 the most, so.
Thank you.
Just the final boss of 7 was
Wait,
pull your
someone
hair
say
out.
6 was their favorite? Because 6 is fucking awesome. Like, 6 is, like, a lot of fun. Like, I actually, sorry not to derail the chat, but, like, I played 6 recently in the past, like, couple of years on the Mega Man Legacy Collection, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it gives you a lot of options. That's why
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah,
The
like-
different rush forms and everything.
Yeah, like, that's a blast. Like, I was, like, really
It
impressed.
is so funny that we got 2 separate rush forms in 6. And then
Yeah, I
in
know.
7, we got, again, Mega
Yeah.
Man fusing with Rush. And in this game, it's just back to the coil and a jet. Now, it's really
Yeah.
nice that they put it on Y and B button, but at the same time, I would still like something bigger, because I've done
Yeah.
it so many times in the past.
Mm,
I appreciate the changes that the rush forms bought, but I think my problem with 6, and again, I think it's a good game, but it's one of those games where, again, the weapons, I only ever use them for the boss masters,
mm.
and the switching between the forms just slow the games down.
Mm.
Where it's like, especially if you have to switch between, like, the jet form and the boost form. So that kind of just was a drag. But I think this one, I think they had to go beyond just being an homage to the older days. Because with this project, like, 9 and 10 released at a time when peak Nintendo nostalgia was a
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think for this, it's you can't go backwards. You kind of have to
Yeah.
honor the past while moving forward. So using, like, the 2.5D
Yeah, exactly.
style, I think. And it's cheaper for production too, as I'm not sure exactly how many, like, sprite artists there are at Capcom anymore, because there's no
Yeah.
smaller, like, DS projects anymore. It's just
Oh,
Monster
yeah.
Hunter, Resident Evil,
Street
and
Fighter.
then Mega Man's in the corner. Street Fighter is even 2.5D now. I think this is on the same MT framework that even powers Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I think so. And plus, we have to also remember, too, something with Mega Man 9 and 10. Those weren't actually developed by Capcom. Those were Inti Create. So, like, the whole thing with the sprites, like, those 9 and 10 were never really done by Capcom, except for the fact that, like, they created those way back in the 80s. Like, otherwise, like, the actual development of everything came from Inti Creates.
Okay. I mean, I did look up the price on this because I was curious. This came out as a $30 game when it originally released.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually not mad at that. Like, I could have been like, oh, that's outrageous. I'm angry. But, like, no, you know what? $30? You know what? Okay. Like,
Real.
Especially for Mega Man, like.
No, I mean, I'm happy that it released a little bit cheaper. Like, that's because it isn't. To me, this would have done terribly if it were released at 60, just because it's not enough game. I feel like for what people would expect. I mean, I beat this in 2 hours, but I did cheat, on newcomer mode, so I can't judge that, and I'm not judging it on that. On when it comes, like, as we talk about this, I don't even know what it was. It was just a strange, like. I like 2.5D graphics. That's what I do want to say that. Like, I like that style, and I'm not upset that they went to it. I just think that it would have been cool to have 16-bit or 32-bit just because of play home. But
I mean, like, the 8-bit people got to have their nostalgia, not to sound like a whiny baby or like, oh, boo-hoo, win.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're not going
but like, where's my nostalgia? Like, where's my nostalgia thing? But like, I will say this too as like a big compliment towards 11. The graphics are probably, like, my highest, like, bit of praise for this game. Like, the graphics look really nice and, like, cool and, like, have a cartooniness that I like in a Mega Man game. And, like, they just look really solid. Like, you know what, Capcom, for, like, the graphics you picked for this, the graphic style you picked for this game, like, I really like it.
And to talk about some of the bosses, because the only boss that I knew of before I started playing this game was, like, Phoebe had mentioned I think it was the demo boss or the one that, like, Blockman, the one that was advertised.
Right.
Was it a trailer? Was that where he's from?
He's from the demo.
It was in the first trailer, and then the demo level was the Blockman stage.
Okay, that's because I remember seeing him before, because I've always been into Mega Man games, even though I never played them until this podcast.
Yes,
I'd always been aware of them, and I like them. I suck at them, so I don't play them.
It's kind of weird that, like, even when I was a kid, I was into Mega Man, because, like, man, sorry, like, not to make this, I'm really not trying to be tangent-holic here, but, like, I think the reason why I loved Mega Man so much, besides, like, its kind of simplest gameplay, was, like, the Japanese version of the games had such amazing artwork, and it looked kind of cute, where, like, man, just about all of, like, the North American box art of those games look so ugly, and it's like, I'm surprised I even liked this as a kid, because, like, these box arts are very ugly. Like, ugh. Like, I don't know, like, now I understand as an adult why I love Mega Man besides its gameplay, is that, like, oh, I really love the artwork of these games. I'm glad they didn't change the artwork in-game, because, yeah, the North American box covers to a lot of the Mega Man games are really ugly. Like, just, blech.
I know what you mean. But Blockman kind of stuck with me, and I think it's cool. Like, one of the things you see with him is that, because the whole, one of, like, the new gimmicks of this game, I don't think gimmick's the right word, is the whole, like, the gear system. Like, that's the whole idea why we have a new Mega Man game, that they have gears now, where you can toggle one where things slow down, you can toggle one where you hit harder, and then the idea is that the bosses, as you get them under half health, they also have a gear mode. Like, Blockman becomes gigantic, like a Power Ranger villain.
Yeah.
Make my robot master grow.
Yeah, it's weird, because I think one of the great things about the design of this, even if you play on normal, I believe it's been designed in such a way that if you don't want to interact with a gear system, you can. But I think the 2-factor system didn't really work for me, because I never found a use for the power gear. Like, I rarely had an instance where I needed to supercharge my weapon. The slowdown time one was the one I used the most.
I feel like the gear system in general was kind of really made for, like, the newbies and the beginners, which, like, yes. I actually kind of appreciate. Like, hey, you know what? This is a good way to get, like, the newbies of this, like, into the series. Like, here you go. Here's some, like, little adjustments. So, like, if you feel like you need more time in a jump, or you need you're having a tough time making a jump, or, like, you're having a tough time with, like, aiming or something, like, here you go.
And that was the whole point, is because you can't. Capcom has found ways over the past decade to really blow out their series into multi-million selling franchises. And you have to sell to more than just the people who are buying Mega Man games in the past. So
Yeah.
I think to limit it to, say, like a 16-bit art style and then not have something that makes it easier would have been to its detriment. And it's there if you want it, but also if you don't want it, then you can just ignore it too.
Which I guess I'll give that another bit of praise too. Like as much as I may not have used the gear system all the time, I did use it a few times. Surprisingly, it's not like an annoying, forced thing to use. It's just if you need it, there it is. But if you don't need it, don't worry about it. It's not going to be in your face or whatever. It's just going to be it's just always there. It's in the background.
I agree with you on that 100%. I'm just happy this, I'm going to say it again, I'm just happy this game exists. I also want to say Fuse Man was another boss that I thought was pretty cool, too. I liked his design.
Fuse Man's boss fight's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I thought all the boss fights were pretty fun. They all had, pretty cool gimmicks. Some of the weapons that you use against them, I think Dynamo Man, I found it easier. Dynamo Man and Torch Man were easier to do with the regular weapons and their weaknesses, but the other ones had really interesting patterns.
I
just liked how Tundra Man,
and Base.
Sorry?
Dynamo Man's from And Base.
Oh yeah.
What am I mixing? Impact Man. That's
there we go. There we go. That's the one. Okay.
He's the one who kind of dashes towards you. Yes. Sorry. It was him and Torch Man, which I found easier to just use my regular charge shots with because they had cool patterns. I also thought it was interesting that the voice of Torch Man is the person who does the Honest Trailers voice.
What?
Does the voice of the Honest Trailers.
I did not catch that.
Awesome. Yeah. I actually didn't check the voice cast for this game, so if anybody has any cool voice actor notes or whatever, go ahead and share them, because I feel bad because I feel like I'm usually good at that type of stuff, but I forgot to check for this game.
See.
I can't even. It's just I'm watching the spearrun of this game while we're talking, and I'm just I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
This game is so forgettable, and that is not a good thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's the case. I can remember stuff from Mega Man 1 through 6 pretty easily. I can remember Mega Man 9 and 10.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this game, and I beat it a week ago. But it's also me too. But that's
I get you.
No, I wanted to tell you what you guys were talking about earlier, the boss fights. I do think all the boss fights were pretty fun. I liked it that they have second modes. I wasn't speedrunning, so I didn't care if they went into their gear mode. I'm okay, cool. I'll just wait till you're done, and I'll kill you with your weakness in a second. It was fine. It was cool.
Yeah, of course.
Even though the levels are longer, nothing but Bounce Man really felt like a pain in the ass. That was the only level where I said, fuck this. The rest were fine.
Am I the only one who just found that stage easier than the others?
Yes.
You probably have a really good gaming skill, so maybe
she does.
Yeah.
She might not believe me, but she does.
No, I believe I've seen some of
Phoebe's. I said she. She might not believe me.
Okay, because I was going to say, I've seen some of Phoebe's stuff. I may not be prevalent in chats and stuff, but I've seen some of Phoebe's work. She's kick ass.
I know, Phoebe, you beat Bloodborne in a day or 2 days?
Damn!
I beat Bloodborne in a total of 5 to 6 hours.
Whoa!
So,
on New Game Plus for you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's called procrastination, but she was able to pull it off.
I'm just like that one guy from The Stand now, Mike. My life for you.
See, but this game makes sense if you wait. This is a game that I should have waited till the day before the recording so I'd remember it.
Hey, I just did it. I don't remember any of the stages. Bosses, sure, whatever. Stages, except for Bounce Man's, no.
They're kind of forgettable.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I did like Acid Man. I want to mention him quick. I thought I liked his design. I thought he was cool looking.
I like
the look of his level. Sorry, Phoebe.
Same.
I love that. I remember Blast Man's stage because it's just some type of Hollywood Universal Studios lot.
Yeah, it's a cool TV set.
But what's even funnier is that First of all, he feels like just Napalm Man and Slash Man fused together. But then there are the little mini-con bombers that are trying to dive kick at you and stuff. They just look like Needle Man and Spring Man fused together.
Yeah.
Well, it's the thing about this series. I remember, I think I was reading the GMR review of the Mega Man collection on PlayStation 2, and it was talking about how like the series had ran out of innovation when like Flame Man was different enough between Fire Man and Heat Man to like War and Creation. Because you're going by a lot of the same themes like fire, ice, electricity. Yeah. Like and you're at your 11th entry plus the X series plus the ZX series and the spin-offs. So there's bound to be like we're just going to like rig this guy onto this guy, almost like parts and things.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm looking at the Wily stages right now. Did we miss any bosses before I go to the Wily stage? Oh, we didn't really talk about Impact Man. I think he has a really cute design that I would, to go back to Kyle's earlier comment, where I would like to see him pixelated, and I think I would have liked it more.
Yeah,
that's a me problem, not the game. Like, it's
I get you.
I think there's a lot of cool levels to talk about, like the Torchman level, how it's basically like a camp out.
Right.
Because that's the thing. It's like I think his profile is something like, even though he has like a fire hazard on his head, I think you could dig into the profiles and it says something like he was designed to like teach children about camping or something.
Oh, okay.
And I think like that's what I really like about that level. And it's just like I think there's a lot to get into some of the levels, because like you have the torches and if you hit the enemies and everything goes dark. But there's really cool creative solutions, like if you fire the Fuse Man weapon on the ground, it kind of circles around a platform and illuminates everything. So there's like lots of cool stuff like that I really dig in this. Like lots of creative ways to use your weapons. Like there's a mini boss in Impact Man's level, and it's like a Metron like with a crane. And it's kind of challenging unless you switch to Blockman's weapon and just dump blocks on his head and he's dead in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Or like the one where it's like a roller coaster and it's like spinning around a circle. And if you just jump in the middle and use Tundra Man's weapon, for which is a tornado, it kills him in like one hit.
Yeah.
There's so many ways. And I think that's the thing about this, is that you kind of get what you put into it. And experimenting with your arsenal is where it shines. Like if you're just kind of going around with your regular weapon, I mean, you do you, of course. But I think if you like kind of play around with some of its mechanics, like it elevates it a bit more above its station a little.
No, that's completely fair. I mean, I know that I'm missing out in Mega Man game by not using the weapons. Like, I will never cut down a Mega Man game because of me being stupid like that. And I will say it's stupid because it doesn't make any sense. It's just a weird thing where I'm like, I don't want to use these. I'm going to save these, even though I know which one I need for the boss and I don't need any. I'm going to save them. Like, it's just a stupid thing that I do to myself for some unknown reason in Mega Man games.
But the thing about that, though, is that a lot of them are designs where you don't need them. And that's why people kind of hold Mega Man 2 to a high standard. It's because, like, you think of, I'll just use Woodman levels, for example, where if you turn on the time stopper before all the dogs come, you can ignore them. And then you have enemies that are hanging below you, and you can't hit them. Like, the monkeys are hanging on the platforms. However, if you have Metal Man's weapon, you can just fire in a diagonal. And Crash Man's level, where there's a lot of aerial enemies and everything's designed upwards, so if you have like the air shooter, you can kind of kill everything. Like when I think of Mega Man like 4, 5, and 6, which are all very well designed games, there's very few instances where I'm switching to a weapon to kind of help my situation, where I wouldn't think it was easier if I had some kind of tool. And that's like when we did the Mega Man 10 episode. I think the weapons in that game are trash. Like they're not even really that great for the bosses.
Just by this, I know that you like Mega Man and Bass.
Because like I want to. That's one thing I don't understand, because Capcom has been really great with re-releasing their back catalogs. Like this year alone, we got the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which I don't even know how all of that happened, but it exists in the world. And we have NSO and other things like that. And Mega Man and Base exists, and the only English version of that that's ever been released is on the Game Boy Advance with shrunken playfield, which makes it artificially harder. And it was only ever released on Game Boy Advance and the Wii U Virtual Console, which is still the Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah.
Hey, if Konami can finally start getting things right, maybe Capcom will realize that they can release that again.
Hopefully, Capcom will do the right thing like Konami. I know that sounds funny. I say Konami did the right thing, where they got M2 to port their games. And hopefully Capcom will get M2 to port it, so that way it won't be annoyingly hard like the Game Boy Advance version.
Well, they can just do like because there is and that's the thing, like you have presumably the Super Famicom ROM somewhere. And then you have the English translation from the Game Boy Advance game. And I know it's not a simple copy paste, but like, why not do that? Even if, like, say a couple of years ago, like Retrobit did the re-release of Mega Man The Wily Wars and they printed on a cart.
Right.
Like, why not go that route or something like that? Because, I mean, at this point, you know, they have been good with getting their Mega Man back catalog on new devices. Like right now, Digital Eclipse of the Legacy Collection 1, but Capcom internally has been handing them since then. And you have Legacy Collection 2, the X Collection, the ZX Collection, and Zero, and Battle Network. So the only ones that aren't playable at this point are Legends and Mega Man and Base, and like the weird, like, battle and chase things that were bonus.
The kart racer game.
Yes, Star
Yes. And the Game Boy ones, are those playable anywhere?
They're all on NSO.
Yeah, true.
All 5 of them are on NSO.
Okay. God, I need to do those now. Like, I'm running out of... Like, the whole reason why this game is even on the show is because I was like, it's the last regular Mega Man game of the number series. I can finish this series, and I just got Game Boy games and others, but at least the main series is done. Except Mega Man Advance kind of counts. But
I don't know. I really
Boy games are hard.
I really hate those Game Boy games. They feel weird. Like, the physics feel way off.
So... Something I want to bring up is, how do we feel about Mega Man changing design when he uses a boss's weapon?
I love it.
That's actually one of the few things I also really give praise to. Like, I liked it. Like, I thought this was kind of a neat little upgrade.
That's what they always wanted it to be. They just, like, when they designed the original Mega Man, but it was too much work and memory to make the changes.
So this changes his color, you know.
Well, I don't like it for some reason, and I don't have a good reason to. Like, it's honestly a better thing. It makes more sense. It looks better. It looks cool, but for some reason, it bothered me. And all I can think of is I'm a grumpy old man in a rocking chair being back and back. Like, that's how I feel, because I don't have it's a stupidity argument. Like, there's no reason to complain about that, but I am.
I don't know. People were complaining about how if you jump at the wall, you fall down and then go through the door instead of going through the wall. So, like, people complain about, like, yeah.
You can't complain.
I mean, it's not something that affects the game.
No,
I don't know.
Just...
The businessman in me, which is not a smart businessman, just looks at the design and says, like, we can make so many cool toys based off of this.
Yes. I'm assuming they must have made some figures.
I don't know. I looked up the sales of this game, and it's
in the millions. It's over. It's like over $1 million.
Confounds me.
I was really surprised. Like, man, fuck. Okay, this apparently really sold well.
Capcom confirmed in September 30th of 2022 that Mega Man 11 sold 1.6 million copies, becoming the highest-selling game in the Mega Man franchise.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is after they had the highest-selling game, they went and made a sequel and a sequel and oh, wait, never mind.
What I'm also saying is that Square Enix needs to take a fucking hint and drop their expectations a little bit.
But it's the difference between that. Okay, so you're talking about like a Final Fantasy game and a Mega Man game. Like, the budget of this is probably not that high. The team size probably wasn't that big. It sold for $40. You know, it was a hot commodity out the gate. And since then, it's probably gone on sale like so many times. So the profits on this, it probably didn't have to sell that much in order to make that much to make back its budget and then start making money for the company. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me that it's the best-selling Mega Man game because Mega Man games have never been big sellers. Like, it's a popular franchise that's never been a blockbuster success.
No, yeah,
it's always
popular,
kind of just...
It's popular, but it's niche, in a way, like, as confusing as that might sound.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not confusing. It's a brand that's known, but maybe not, with game sales that just aren't
popular.
There as much.
It's like not D&D, but it's like it's popular with nerds. It's not like popular. And I'm not saying that as like, oh, I'm not a nerd. Like, no, I'm a nerdy.
You're on a gaming
nerd.
podcast.
Like, yeah, exactly. I'm 34 years old on a video game podcast. I host my own podcast. Like, I'm a goddamn nerd. Like, it's popular with nerds. Yeah,
Hey, you fit the 30-year-old male. You have your own podcast.
Yay!
Oh, God. Congratulations.
Guys,
You're an official white person. You have a podcast.
Guys, I'm a meme.
Hey,
I'm so proud of myself.
I'm a meme in one group that I'm no longer part of on Facebook, so hey.
Oh no.
That's how I'm going to leave it at that. But
I can't believe it. I'm a meme. I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to cry. I'm so proud. I'm mean.
And then the Wily stages I thought were fine. I remember kind of enjoying them. My only issue with it is they bring back the fucking Cyclops guy. I forgot his name.
The devil?
Yes, Yellow Devil.
I love he's my favorite devil among the entire series. Because I hate those boss fights because they take so long. But in this, they sped it up so fast, and then they have like the interesting thing where it kind of bounces across the screen, and you have to you can slow down time. So it does a lot more than just like following the blocks. I mean, there is that, but it's so much more than that.
I just don't like seeing I think it's PTSD. I fought too many devils in my Mega Man quest, and I really don't like devils anymore.
You sound like a priest. I fought too many devils in my day.
Yeah, so my devils were usually yellow or black or green and had one eye. So
okay, don't get racist now. I'm kidding. I love you, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Wait, there is a black devil, right, in one of the games?
In MegaMan X5, it's terrible.
There is, yeah.
That's just like I had because I remember a green one where I had to shoot to get his eye open. I think was that MegaMan 8?
Yes. And it's also in Mega Man and Base in the opening, I believe.
Yeah, he has the tutorial level.
I've never played Mega Man and Base for more. Like, I played the ROM back in the day.
I'd be interested to see how you'd handle that game for the podcast. Like,
it's very hard.
Have you noticed how it hasn't happened yet?
Yeah.
At the very least, this should be your last devil. I can't think of any in X8. I can't think of any in the Zero games. You should be fine.
There are the Game Boy games still. There are Extreme 1 and 2.
Yep.
Extreme 1 and 2 shouldn't have them. And that's...
Yeah. Okay, good.
Those
Extreme 1 and 2 is effectively like...
Game Boy Color remakes
Mega Man. Yeah, it's literally just shrunken down assets. They're interesting.
I want to play them.
Cute.
One of them is just pretty much a retelling of X1. The other one is absolutely needed for X4.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to happen at some point. There's so many. I go through my phase where there's so many other things I want to do, so that I just put stuff like, I'll get to this someday when I like, hey, I don't know what to do this week, and that's how those things come apart. But yeah, I'm a little Mega Man out after this game, and X7 is beating me down.
I understand.
I'm a little like X8 is not on the schedule yet because X7 just hurt me.
That sucked.
Oh, God,
X7 is awful, but I promise you, X8 is actually better. Like,
I know
that.
I know X8 is better. I've heard from friends back in the day. I know. I just X7.
No, I get you. X7 is awful. Like it's like it's especially bad as like a Mega Man game. Like, wow, Capcom, what the fuck happened? So
and then we're gonna do Command Mission, and that's gonna be super good.
Command Mission's a lot of fun.
Except for the spawn rates of enemies. Oh my God, go 3 feet and spawn.
I need to play more Command Mission. It's a fun game.
One thing I found interesting about the story in this, I guess they have the opening where during the, I guess they have a flashback to like Dr. Light and Dr. Wily in college, and Dr. Wily proposes like this gear system, and then Dr. Light is pushing AI, and living in the world we know now, I'm like, why didn't we all side with Dr. Wily? He did not want to give them sentience. He just wanted to make them more useful tools. And Dr. Light's like, no, we have to do this. Then it's effectively caused the downfall of the world, considering where his research happened. Like,
I hate it.
It's God. That's the worst part about this game is parts of the story, how it's written. Because Wily wakes up from the dream and goes, "Oh man, my double gear system that I forgot about from 50 years ago." And then he, breaks into Light's house again. You'd think Light would have set up some type of security system by this point.
Kidding.
And he's like, "Oh man, I'm bringing that project." And Light's like, "What the fuck is? Oh no, that project! What the hell?
That bloodline."
I didn't pay any attention to the story.
That technique."
Yeah, I mean, the story doesn't really matter for, like, I think you're never going to have that Mega Man game that's suddenly the missing link between the classic series and the X series.
You
that
mean
gets
10?
into it. I guess. But even then, you're never going to have that one. It's basically just like, okay, what excuse do we have? It's the same thing with Metroid. It's like, what excuse do we have to nerf Samus of her gear again? Like, what excuse do we have to get like 8 robots to go that you have to fight again?
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, you're not here for story. You're just here because you want to play Mega Man. So that doesn't bother me, but I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And I guess some people are disappointed that there's basically only like 2 Wily stages. Well, 3, I guess. And then the
one's just a refight.
The gauntlets. See, I don't mind that because I hate Wily stages. I hate double castles. Like, my favorite part of Mega Man games is going through the Robot Master stages, and the second I get to like Sigma Palaces or Wily Palaces, that's when I kind of check out. So for this one, kind of having like a lean 3 levels and just the gauntlet, I was okay with it, but that's just a personal thing.
And so the funniest thing is, again, did this with no boss weapons and no gears. This is one of the easiest Wilies we've had in a while.
Yeah, this was pretty damn simple. I mean, I did play this on Newcomer, so I can't say a whole lot, but it was pretty easy.
And that might be as a way to, because Mega Man 9 was pretty much skewing towards that Nintendo difficulty.
Yeah.
And 10 kind of softened it up with like the mode that allowed you to say like put things over spikes, but it was still that level of like difficulty. For this, something that I did more of when I'm realizing it now that I'm 40, I can no longer hold down a charge button. It hurts too much. Second I can buy the upgrade for auto charge in this, I get it immediately, because just holding down that button and then doing the jumps, and I just can't do it anymore. So like auto charge all the way.
No, that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that idea. And you are right. Like, auto charge was nice.
Yeah. Although I'm the exact opposite. It's not that I can't hold down a button. I can't rapid fire. Like, my, I can rapid fire, but I can only do it like a little bit. Like, after a little while, like, my thumbs just can't do like the intense button pushing. Like, I gotta take a break. Like, I get that.
And that's the great thing about this shop and this too, is that if you're struggling, I mean, you can buy like energy tanks are really cheap, lives are really cheap, and all the upgrades you get like help that. Because if you're dying a lot, like you can get an upgrade that so enemies drop more currency, which you can then in turn use to buy more power-ups to make everything easier. And again, you don't have to do any of this, but it's there if you need it.
So there was a shop in this game.
Yeah, you didn't use the shop?
No, I didn't buy anything either. It was
Mega
Buster exclusively.
Phoebe, you were like the master gamer here. Holy shit.
Yeah, I bought every single
I have a problem.
part I could, just because I was going for an achievement I didn't know if it existed or not, and I just felt like it. But there were some parts that never unlocked for me, so I'm assuming you had to do particular things in levels or find something, I'm guessing.
I think if you die enough times, I know this time around, because I was going to stream this, but I never, and I'm glad I didn't, because I thought I was okay at this, but this time around, I was struggling a lot. I think I haven't played this in a few years. Also, as tight as the controls are, some of the jumps felt a little bit off. I never felt as comfortable. Like in Acid Man's level, there's a lot of tricky jumps around spikes that I had trouble making. And it felt like normally with a Mega Man game, when I die, it felt like it's my fault. But in this, it felt like it was the game's fault in a weird way.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. Because the game just feels a little unpolished at times.
I think it just might be like the way that 3D characters interact with the world as opposed to like sprites and things like that. That can also be it.
I was like, you were talking about earlier about how you don't like Wily stages. I'm usually in the same boat, but I was kind of sad that there wasn't more levels. Like, I don't know why it bothered me. And I'm like, oh, the game's over. Like, it was a weird feeling. And normally I'm not like that. And I shouldn't have been, because I had a giant game to play for next week's episode, which I have not finished yet. And so I was also surprised about that feeling.
Honestly, Mike, I see your point. Like, I actually didn't mind the length of the Wily levels, but no, like, sometimes I get that with certain video games where I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. Oh, all right. Like, yeah, I can get that.
So, and one thing I do want to bring up, too, is, like, with the Wily fight, you only have, the Wily machine, and...
Right.
Wait, do we have a capsule, too?
Yeah, we have a capsule. It's the easiest capsule.
Okay.
You have to jump on the missiles and then hit him, and then he has the gear mode where he's kind of just coming down from all angles.
Okay. I don't even remember it. I'm waiting for the speedrun to get to it, because I have no memory of this. But that's not a bad thing, because the only capsule fight I remember is MegaMan 7, and they are not happy memories. So, yes.
The one in 8,
about that one.
It was similar to that.
Yeah, but they didn't make me question if I was going to finish the game while using save states or not. So it's not a compliment.
Yeah, I get you.
Seven's a good game, but that fucking capsule fight, woo, that capsule fight, ooh. But one thing I want to talk about, probably one of our last things before we go on to questions that I want to bring up or topic, is the fact that it's been 8 years since we got this. It feels sad to me, because I honestly thought this game was like 2020 or something of that nature, because my brain doesn't remember time, and I'm surprised it's been so long, and there's like they had never made a 12. Like,
we're getting close to the 40th anniversary, so they'll probably.
I'm not sure what Capcom's deal is at the moment, because like this sold well. Like, Capcom, what the fuck do you want? Like, I appreciate all the collection stuff, like the Mega Man Legacy collections, the X collection, They even did a collection for Battle Network, like the Zero collection, Battle Network. Look, I really appreciate all the collections. Thank you very, very much. But, like, I'd like a new game, and maybe a new X game, too. Like, please, Capcom?
Okay, so this is what's going to happen, because I called it. I was joking with people, they'll make a Battle Network collection, and it's going to have online multiplayer, because each one of these collections has had some special thing. And then I was right about the Battle Network one. So here it is. They'll do a legendary collection, which is for Legends, and it's going to have Legends 3 in it.
Oh my God.
Phoebe, I see pigs flying over the lake. I'm looking.
I know. I'm sorry. Am I still asleep? Because like that would literally be in like a dream of mine. Like, here's the Legends collection, and here's the prototype of 3, and you can finally play it. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to wake up.
I believe in that more than I believe in Red Ash at this point.
Oh yeah, no, those are dead. Like fucking Red Ash, like all of that Red Ash stuff is fucking dead. Like Keiji Inafune made himself a fucking laughing stock, and like there's no way he's coming back from that.
See, here's what I don't know what's taken so long, but I think I like Mega Man games coming around every now and then disappearing. Because when I think of like 9 and 10 and the diminishing returns of Mega Man 9 came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then 10 came around and it was like, it's just that again. I'm wondering if they're trying to determine what series to move forward with. And I think the Capcom test of re-releasing these collections and why I had to go get the data and I got it from the Rockman Network is I think from what I'm hearing here, So the Legacy Collection, the Battle Network Legacy Collection 1 and 2, which came out last April 2023, had already moved 1.32 million units by June. So and I wonder if they're putting out all of these and determining, do we want to move forward with a new X, or is Battle Network nostalgia stronger, and do we want to make like a new, like, say, open world Battle Network game, which I think would be cool?
Yeah.
I can answer that question.
Honestly, like, even for, like, all the Mega Man stuff I am into, like, I'm into a lot of Mega Man stuff. Guys, I even liked the Star Force games. That's how much of, like, a fucking nerd of a Mega Man fan I am.
Those
like,
are the only ones I haven't played yet.
Oh, they're fun. I if you get the chance, try them out. They're fun. I liked them.
No, I can answer this perfectly, Blair, because it is definitely Battle Network has the most nostalgia. When I went to college, everyone would bring Game Boy Advances and even the PET card reader.
That's amazing.
And they were actually holding tournaments for Battle Network, like money matches and stuff.
It hit
this
during
is in 2014 and everything.
Yeah, it hit during that Pokemon time, and unlike, I mean, there was Mega Man cartoons, and he was on Captain N and things like that, but this was a multimedia. Because I remember I was in university around 2004, and I mean, the NT Warrior cartoon was on
for that cartoon,
like Kids WB, and it was on I think Teletoon here in Canada, and then I'm going to Walmart.
Canadian? Oh my god!
He's Canadian.
I'm going to Walmart and seeing the NT Warrior toys.
Now, at the same time, that's going to be the most nostalgic. There are really only 3 franchises that they should continue at this point because they leave on giant cliffhangers. That's X, ZX, and the Legends. Everything else has been wrapped up.
Okay.
I think ZX is not going to be the one because I don't think that one has the drive. And I think I want a Mega Man Legends remake more than anything in the world, or a Legacy Collection, but I think if you just give that the simple Legacy Collection treatment, the complaints are going to be that it's too clumsy, and I wonder if it's too much to overhaul the controls. And I know Legends 2 had like dual analog control to an extent.
They cannot do a full remake like they are in Resident Evil games. That would be way too much. But at the same time, you're right. They would have to change up controls and everything.
Yeah, they would.
I think what they're doing right now with the Croc remake or the Croc remaster, where they're actually upgrading the controls and everything, that's the best way they can do it.
Yeah.
But in saying that, when I think about Mega Man Legends, because I'm noticing it, like I was talking to my fiance when we left the movies the other day, is that anime is bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, I don't know, it's apparently at our GameStop here, they're tests running trading in manga. Like, that's where they're going.
Whoa.
So to have a Mega Man game that's so anime like Legend, given how like Namco, Bandai's Dragon Ball games and all those things sell, to do an overhaul with an open world like that, I think if you did it right, it would move units.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing is we just have to see what they decide on. And
yeah, exactly. Though honestly, like Phoebe, you like a lot of that stuff you just mentioned of like what you would like, how you would call it, or like you calling it as like this will happen. Like honestly, all of that are like my dreams. Like I swear to God, I've like in my sleep, in my dreams, I've had dreams exactly like that. Where like, oh, we're introducing the Legends collection and new remastered everything and even Mega Man Legends 3. And I'm like, holy shit. I don't want to wake up.
Even if they did a Legends collection of 1, 2, and Tronbot, I'd be happy just to be more available.
Put in some of the demos from the Japanese version too.
Yes.
Because I have the demo for the North American Tronbon, and it's just like a few levels, but I know the demo that came with the Japanese version actually had some more context and things like that.
Yeah. Not only would I like buy that, not only would I buy it and double dip, I would triple dip. I would even probably quadruple dip. Like, I would buy it on PC. I would buy it on, like, PlayStation probably. And I would probably even buy it on, like, Switch if they made it for Switch. Like, I would get it on everything because I fucking love those Legends games so much. Like, holy God.
Oh, that's fair. Right, and I guess one last thing that I forgot about that I want to quickly mention is Mighty Number 9 came out a year before this.
Yeah.
2016. No, 2 years before this.
Yep. And yeah, that was
It's a game I've never played.
We all cried like an anime girl at prom night. Why would you put that in your trailer for a game?
I still love the smugness of, like, Keiji Inafune and his staff where, like, when people are like, hey, yeah, that game actually wasn't that great and all that stuff, it's like, well, at least you got it. Like, cool, thanks. That's exactly what I want to fucking hear when I put my hard-earned money towards a thing, like your project. It's just, well, at least you got the product. Like, wow, fuck you.
How about I want a
paid
fucking
$3
refund?
So I'm not upset, but I get it completely. But no, I literally paid $3 for it, I think, on some discounted Steam.
Yeah. Like, let me make myself clear, because I feel like I'm probably coming off like a total...
No, I know what you mean. You probably bought this, or you backed it?
No, hold on, let me clarify. I'm probably making myself sound like a whiny asshole about Mighty Number 9. I'm not like, oh, it was the worst game ever. It's not. It's a decent game, but that's the thing. It's just decent. Like, it's such a bland no burger. Like, it's a burger, and that's cool. That's nice. Like, it'll fill you up, but, like, man, there's just, like, really nothing to it. Like,
So, Mike, when are we doing it?
Probably never.
Yeah, I don't want to be on that one.
Yeah, same here. Phoebe.
I got the code from, like, I backed it because it's such an interesting time in the early 2010s when it was, see, Capcom is the enemy and I'm the hero and I'm giving you what you want, and then everyone backed it, and then you didn't realize that you need staff and money and budget, which are things.
It was practically its own, like, culture movement. We're like, yeah, we'll make our own, and it's gonna be amazing. And then just, wow, that was a cold splash of reality. Like,
All right, let's go on to questions, comments, and memories. I didn't get a lot, but I got a few, actually. So, first from the official Laser Time community, from Greg Moore. After nearly a decade of dormancy, this was not the shot in the arm the brand needed. In fact, MegaMan 11 was the one thing above all else I hope they would not do whenever they decide to make a new game, another drop in an already overflowing bucket. The innovations are a bullet time mechanic and a double trigger mechanic gameplay tropes that have been run into the ground by, like, 2003. The bosses also aren't any more inspired than the likes of Pump Man and the baseball with arms and legs from the last couple of rehashes. Blockman, come on. Now it's been another half decade with no follow-up.
Jesus. Wow, that is, like, I've heard criticisms, but, like, god damn.
All right, I got a bunch from this one, which are not from the Mega Man fans group.
Okay.
From Ronnie Denman. The graphic design of Mega Man 8 is my favorite.
Cool. All right.
Fine, yeah.
Renato Amaro. Game is good, but music is garbage.
Yeah.
From Forrest Weldon. I enjoyed Mega Man 8 a lot more than the others.
Okay.
From John Hunter. I know, it's just kind of funny. One of my all-time favorites. It's all about the finer details. You might need to play through it 2 or 3 times to fully appreciate them. Capcom proved they don't need Inafune. I can't say his name right.
Inafune.
To make good Mega Man game. Now, if only they can make another one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. His contribution was, and I'm not saying he didn't have any, but he was largely, and I could be diminishing it, but I think he was just like a producer and overseer. Like, he wasn't.
Yeah, for a lot of the later games, he kind of was. Like, I'm also not trying to diminish anything here, but, like, I feel like people really overstated Inafune with, like, the Mega Man stuff. But, like, he wasn't, like, the big head honcho for all of the, like, Mega Man games. Like, 1 and 2, yeah, he was really important, but, like, everything else, he really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, he was important, but he wasn't, like, the magic maker. Like, sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything.
No, I mean, he was a top, like, corporate guy later on. Like, that's not the people who really make things that we love. Usually they're the ones that ruin it, to be honest with you. Like,
and I get why he didn't want to be that person either, like the corporate person. Like, no, I totally get it. Like,
wasn't he an artist?
Yeah, he was an artist, and, like, he wanted to kind of stay to his roots in a sense. Like, he wanted to, be the magic maker. And, like, I get that. Like, it's like Iwata. Like, Iwata was also that kind of a person, too, even though, like, I think he handled his job with being the head honcho of Nintendo a lot better than Inafune handled his. But, like, even still, like, both people, like, just wanted to, like, really be, make the stuff. Like, they wanted to really keep to their roots with that.
And I think what his service is, when people talk about, like, why aren't you working on X franchise? Why aren't you working on Y franchise? It's because a lot of them are just lacking champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need that person, like people talk about, like, the Marvel games. It's like, why aren't you making the Marvel games? And it's like, well, there's no one there who's, trying to do it like Ono was with Street Fighter 4. And in the 90s, there was someone, I can't remember his name, but effectively they've referred to him as like the Marvel guy, where he was the one who really wanted to work on the Marvel license. So if you don't have someone there who's like, my passion project is, say, like Mega Man Legends, then you're not going to get someone making it.
Like, why we keep getting Romancing Saga games, but we never gotten like Xenogears or Chrono Trigger or another Chrono Trigger game, because the people that aren't there anymore, but the Romancing Saga guy is still there.
Yeah.
For Square.
Yeah.
And plus, those have had, like, well, it's funny you say that about the Romancing Saga stuff, because that kind of had its own, like, little, like, what's the
Well, the whole Saga series is, like, the only one from them that still is happening.
No, that, but it's also, I'm trying to remember the fucking term here, excuse me, but it's like, the Saga series has had its own little revelation song. I guess that's the term. I'm sorry, I'm fucking it up. Yeah, Renaissance. Sorry, it's having its own renaissance now, because, like, there are fans of it now, and people are like, oh yeah, I do like these Saga games. Like, that's, like, the Saga series is its own kind of a different thing. Like, it's not just that, like, oh, the person that does Saga stuff is still there, but, like it's now had its big grand renaissance now, of, like, because, like, now it has fan bases, and now people remember this stuff.
You release a you bring me Chrono Break, I will actually pay full price. And I will buy the collector's edition. Not saying
of course. But
yeah, I get what you mean. There's probably not as many diehard people as I am when it comes to.
You want a Chrono Trigger game without any of the original people who made the original.
Yeah.
Like, no Sakaguchi, no
I want
the
parallel dimension where they didn't quit working at Square. That's what I want.
No, you get the monkey paw.
Exactly.
All right, a couple more comments from Stephen Jacoby. Mega Man changing his looks with each weapon is awesome. Wish they could remake older games like and include this.
No, I get that.
I get it, but I wouldn't like it. But that's
ironically, speaking of Keiji Inafune, I really loved his. I know they weren't just his, but, like, I know he was a big proponent and big cheerleader for those PSP remakes, like Mega Man Power. Like, I loved Power Up so much, and I loved that remake too. Like, I wish Capcom made more of those. Those were so cute. I loved them.
I need to play that X remake someday.
Do it.
Yeah, Maverick Hunter X is good stuff.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love X, and that gives me another excuse to put it on the show again. So, hey, I might, maybe. All right, and then this is a long one, but from Mikeson Mendez. This game doesn't take itself too much seriously. A self-contained package strictly over itself. Mega Man 1 through 8 was always trying to push the story forward. Mega Man 11 tries to recreate Mega Man games as a more arcade approach.
Yeah,
Not much going on or to think of. There's nothing to look beyond. Mega Man felt as a whole universe where we immerse ourselves in. Mega Man 11 just replicate the themes, but not the soul. It's too simplistic, minimalistic. Despite some say or the press had been saying that this is the correct approach, as a Mega Man fan, I always like to push the series forward approach. In Mega Man 8 and Rockman and Bass, we had collectibles, explorations, etc. The series was always going forward. Mega Man 9 to 11, Capcom's trying to keep things simple and straightforward, more like a tiny indie game, not as it was a bigger legendary franchise. At least we got something.
I actually really like that comment. I really appreciate that comment.
All right. Here, I'm going to read two more from this group and go to the last group. Jared Willis, great game. It's better with the voice acting off. Its biggest weakness is the music, in my opinion. They really missed the mark there.
I get that.
And then from Daniel Page, it's a great game. My only critique is it needed one more Fortress stage. The last group from Mega Man Universe, from Steve Morin. I thought Legend was the best branch off. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
one of them.
And then the other one from Kirk Nelson, think it was a little too formulaic. It's definitely time to branch off from even 2D with Mega Man, not like Legend, but like the OG Mega Man.
No, of course.
Okay. All right. I think that brings us to Shelf Stacker Box. And Phoebe, why don't you lead us in?
There's not that much memorable stuff about this game. There's some really good boss designs. There's some fun parts about the stages and everything. But at the end of the day, you should play one of the older games, in all honesty. But that being said, this isn't awful. It's just forgettable. So I'm going to put this on the stack. I'm willing to give it another shot sometime in the far-off future.
All right. And Kyle.
Thinking about it, I'm going to also have to put it on the stack. There are a few things about this game I actually really appreciated. Surprisingly, I think the graphics for this game look really good. I loved the new graphic style of, instead of doing the nostalgia baity kind of 8-bit stuff, which I don't mind that, but, especially, when I was younger, I actually really hated it because, sorry, not to make this a boo-hoo me sob moment, but, because 7 was my favorite. I remember way back in the day, I dealt with a lot of kind of crappy Mega Man fans that would get really shitty and be like, oh, 7 sucks and 2's better, and they get, really shitty about it, and it kind of ruined the experience for me, but, those days are long gone, and I'm over that shit. No, I really appreciated the graphic art style of this game. It looks really nice. I appreciated some of the gameplay little upgrades, and I noticed there's some quality of life things with 11 that I also actually kind of appreciated. I didn't talk too much about that in this episode, but I wanted to leave that as a surprise for people that want to play this. No, I think even with all of those, tiny little sprinkles of praises, though, yeah, I'm sorry, this is going to be on the stack. I think this will be on the stack. I think I'm going to give this game another, 5 years, and then I'll go back to it and, see if I feel any different, because I've had this quite a lot of times in my life where I feel like I really misjudged something, where I really hated something, and then, 10 or 15 years later, it's like, oh, no, you know what, I actually really like this. I don't know what I was thinking back then.
All right. And Blair.
I think I'll also put it on the stack, but for just a lot of different reasons. I think it's a very well-made game. I love the level design and how it makes you use the weapons and how they changed up that. I think the soundtrack is what keeps it from being a shelf, because I do enjoy going back to this every now and then. I just feel the need less and less to do so, but I do think that it's worth anyone's time to check out, especially if you're a longtime fan of the series.
All right, I should go last. I'm going to surprise everyone and put this in the box, because I didn't really like it. I don't even remember it. It's just so forgettable that I can't do anything but box it. But I'm still glad I played it. I'm glad I can now say I played and covered all 11 of the regular Mega Man games. So
nice! Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
Congratulations.
And I think that's everything. It's into what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear us continue our Assassin's Creed voyage, and we are going to be talking about Assassin's Creed 4. So stay tuned for that next week. And, oh God, I forgot to give away a code. Damn.
Uh-oh.
I told you how I'm off this. I am off today. Let's give away a code. Let's hear. You get a code for, Steam code for Rain World, whatever that is.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Never played it. I own it. And the DLC. But here is the code. It is EMRRL04IZC23YK. That is your code for Rain World. So there you go. All right, then we should go to plugs. And Blair, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on various social media platforms, most active on Blue Sky and unfortunately Twitter, although I think that's starting to go away. At Blarcade. You can read my work at comicbookvideogames.com. Most recently, as of this recording, I published a review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed. And I'm also spreading the joy that they're making Justice League Task Force action figures. You can visit the comicbookvideogames.com Facebook page. You can catch me streaming superhero games and sometimes Resident Evil games on twitch.tv/Blarcade. And if you look up my name on Amazon, you can find links to my books.
All right. And Phoebe.
Hi, I'm the Let's Play Princess. You can find me still currently on Twitter, but sooner or later Blue Sky, as well as Twitch and YouTube, playing a lot of video games. I'm also one of the co-hosts on the up-and-coming-ish podcast, Nerds of Broadcast, which you can find everywhere.
All right, and Kyle.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, hi, everybody. You can find me on a couple of different spots on the internet, but most importantly, you can find my podcast, the Unidentified Flying Obsession Podcast, or the UFO Podcast. Once again, that is the Unidentified Flying Obsession Podcast. You can find that wherever you can get your podcasts. I also like to call it the UFO Podcast because that's what it stands for, UFO. Anyways, you can find me there, my podcast. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Blue Sky. Sorry, that's wrong. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm awful today. You can find me at chibiufo.bsky.social on Blue Sky. And you can find my Instagram where I post all sorts of random pictures of stuff on at chibiufo on Instagram.
All right. And you will find links to everybody's stuff in the show notes. Definitely go check them all out. If you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. Little Dari vote in our Patreon poll. We have one or two every month, so you get to change the show. You get to support the show. So definitely go do that. Please make me smile. And if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to suggest things, you can also join our Discord, and you will see a link in every episode. Please, we're just happy. Even if you want to just lurk, join the Discord. Just be there. It makes me happy too. So there's that. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Has Fear. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out. And also want to give a shout out to Bill Tucker at Gamer Looks at 40. So definitely go check out his podcast too. He just talks about video games, mostly Final Fantasy right now, but very good show. Definitely go listen to him. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube. Audio only. But we are on all those different things. Rate and view us wherever you get your podcasts. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.